Well, hi. Welcome back to Glitter 50. One of the other ladies that I watch, Samantha March, she did an eyeshadow palette tag video. So I'm going to do my version of her palettes or her questions, and then I'm going to post it and tag her in it. So here we go. She had like 12 questions. And some of these are pretty hard for me to answer, but we're gonna go with it. So the first question is, what is your newest palette? I have 3 because I got 3 different palettes in the past 2 days. So I didn't know which one to do, so I'm just going to show you all of them. The very first one I got, it can actually fall in another category called gifted, which we'll talk about that in a bit. But I got the Flower Moon from Ensley Rain, and this I got from Angelica Nyquist. She sent me a package, and this is a gorgeous palette. Like so pretty. I just want to dig my fingers into all of them, and I just want to play, but I haven't used it in a video yet. So I'm not going to go and play with that yet. The other one that I got this in an ice cream beauty box. This is my Happy Go Lucky. I didn't know which one to pick, so I'm going to talk about all 3. So this is one that I opened recently also, and it's so pretty. Ensley Rain is a wonderful indie brand. They have great shadows. The mattes are great and easily blendable and work so well. So good. And the third one that kind of falls into this category, this one I purchased for myself. I mean, I purchased the ice cream beauty box, so technically I purchased the Happy Go Lucky, but this is Galactic Visitor from Singe Beauty, which is Angelica Nyquist's brand, and this is what I'm wearing on my eyes today. These colors, the finish of this shadow is, or this eyeshadow palette, it's matte, but it has it's like a soft matte finish, and it's got these raised. It's so pretty. So anyway, those are my newest palettes, and I couldn't choose just one, so you got all 3. Which one is my favorite? I just did a palette declutter, so none of these in my collection do I dislike necessarily, so I couldn't really choose. I mean, I purchased all of my palettes except for like the one that was gifted to me, or like one that I got in an eyeshadow or ice cream beauty box or whatever. But the one that I get the most compliments on when I wear these shadows is the Odin's Eye Solomono 2. And I wear this, and this one, and I do like a sunset eye, and I can use any of those colors, mainly this one, to do a sunset look, and I get the most compliments. This is one of my favorite brands. This is one of my favorite eyeshadow palettes. Okay, so the next one was, which eyeshadow palette have you hit pan in? I'm very gentle with my shadows. I have not hit pan in any of them because they're all so gently used. However, when looking through everything, this is the one that came to mind. I don't even know if you can see, but this color has the biggest dent in it, but I have not hit pan in any of the shadows, which again is why I'm going to try not to buy any palettes next year. That is my whole goal, is if I see a palette I want, I'm going to look through my collection and I'm going to see if I have those shadows, if I can recreate the look without purchasing new palettes. That's my goal for next year because I have so many. The next question was, what was a palette that you didn't think that you were going to like, but you like? And um, in all honesty, I'm still not 100% sure I like the palette. I like the collaborator and I like the brand, but I'm not sure that this is my favorite palette. This is the Resurgence palette from Heather Austin and Unearthly Cosmetics. And the only reason why I say it like that is because I love the shimmers, but the mattes that are in here, I have a hard time making a cohesive look, in my opinion. I would have to draw in other palettes to make this a palette that I could use. Do I like it? Yes. Do I pull it out a lot? No, because it's a color story that I'm not the biggest fan of. I'm sorry. Okay, so the next question was, what was your favorite collab? Well, obviously, I have the Resurgence. I have another one from Adept and Heather Austin. However, my favorite collab is actually Odin's Eye and Angelica Nyqvist. She came out with this one first, and then she came out with these two from for Halloween. This one is just called the Hella palette. This one is called the Trick or Treat palette, and this one is the Little Ghost palette. Now I keep them all in their little sleeves, and I'm just going to show you. I mean, I probably did show you, but I'm going to show you again. It's just a beautiful color story. I absolutely love Odin's Eye. I love the packaging. I love the brand. I love the collab with Angelica. These colors are so beautiful. This yellow is out of this world. I love, love, love these palettes. And this one, this is the Hella palette. So it comes and it has like the dead side. And then you open it and it's the life. Angelica is Swedish. She's, so she has Nordic mythology, not Greek mythology, but so she has a whole thing that tells all about this, but this is the Hella palette, which I love all three of these palettes. They're such a favorite of mine. Okay, so the Gifted is the next question. And like I said, I have the Flower Moon, but one of the other palettes that I got gifted to me was so special to me because of who gave it to me. My bus family gave me a Profusion Artistry on the Go palette that was greens, and it was beautiful. However, it was not something that I was going to use over and above my indie palettes that I have. My mother-in-law, who was visiting us, loved that palette. Absolutely loved that palette. So I gave her that palette because I knew she would get more use out of it. I did, however, keep the brushes from that palette because I wanted to keep something to, I mean, I'll always cherish that memory, but I had to keep something from that to tangibly hold on to. I hope you understand that it wasn't that I didn't like the gift and it wasn't that I wasn't happy about the gift. It was just I knew in myself that I was going to use other palettes over that one. So I regifted it and gave it to my mother-in-law. Please, I hope you understand. Okay, so now I've got through that. Which palette is not my favorite, but I will not let go of? Okay, I absolutely love Prince. These two from Urban Decay and Prince are palettes I keep just for the aesthetic, just for, you know, because it's Prince. I love the colors. They're great colors. They just don't work very well, in my opinion. They're not really great shadows. So I keep them because they are Prince and I love Prince and I won't get rid of them because they're Prince. Um, what is a palette that you would repurchase? And I actually have one. So when I went in November to my granddaughter's Sweet 16 birthday party, my daughter and her sister, who we have adopted as another daughter of ours, the other daughter was like, hey, those shadows are super, super pretty. And again, I thought, okay, well, I could share them. So I gave her that palette. And then I came home and I was like, I want that palette back. So I actually did go and repurchase. So I know it if it is still available and if something happened to it, I would go and repurchase it. It is the Blend Bunnies Cosmetics Trove palette. This is a palette because of the shifty, see, you can see that's a green, that's a green, well, a gold green. This is a teal green, and then you push it down. And I mean, and this is a purple. It's just so pretty. So this would be a palette that I would want to repurchase. What is the first palette that you used this year? And I have no idea if this is the first palette I used this year or not. I cannot for the life of me really remember. However, I'm going to show you the brand I think it was. So I think it was Fantasy Cosmetica was the first brand of palette that I used. And this is not necessarily the one that I used, but it is one of my favorites. This is the Bard palette from Fantasy Cosmetica. Um, they're gorgeous, gorgeous shimmers. I love this color story. You could do that yellow, orange, burgundy color all the way. You could use the yellow with the green. You can use the orange with the burgundy. I mean, such a great palette. I love this palette. I love Fantasy Cosmetica, one of my favorite brands. I could go on and on. Which palette sparks joy? I'm going to show you one. These two can kind of be switched around. So the one that sparks joy is actually the Snow Dream palette from Odin's Eye. If you look at the front of this palette, it has a lot of like old school, old timey Christmases. That's what I look at when I see it. And it reminds me of a much simpler time. It reminds me of home. It reminds me of when I would have Christmases with my family in Connecticut, in Vermont. This is what this palette reminds me of, an old fashioned Christmas. And I miss my family and I miss my home. And so this sparks joy in the fact that it helps me to remember a much simpler time, a much happier time when all of my family was still alive. So I love this for that reason. So it can be a memories or it could be it sparks joy because I love the colors in here. I love the memories that it comes up with. There's shadows in here that just are wonderful. The next one is memories. This brand is no more. You cannot buy it. There's just no getting around that. So, in that sense, this sparks memories again of a much simpler time, a much better time, um, a more beautiful time. I mean, things were simpler back then, but also harder. But this is the Tati volume. Tati Beauty Volume 1. That's just what she called it. And she had plans for so many more palettes, but Tati Beauty just released this one palette and that was it. And so this would be, I mean, you have all these colors, but in all different kinds of shadows, like glitter, metallic, sequin, and matte. And then you have all of the names of the shadows. And I just absolutely love this. It definitely sparks joy also. And it also brings back so many memories. So, like I said, these two kind of go into both categories. I just don't know, you know, I didn't know which way to go. The very last question was which was the most underrated palette? And I can't really attest to that really, except for this one came to mind. Um, Lots of people got mad about this one, but I think it's a beautiful palette. It definitely represents what it represents, and it's the Twilight and ColourPop. And so obviously this is the outside, you know, when they're in the fog and everything. And then this is the vampire skin, diamond skin. And then you open it up and this is the color story. And so many people were so mad because there was no red in this. But in the first movie, there wasn't a whole lot of red. It was that filtered blue filtered. And so this is the color story that they came out with. And these colors, if you don't look at it for who it is or for what it's about, these are so pretty. They're nice shadows. I really like them. And so if you look at it just for that, it's great. But so many people were mad because it didn't live up to their expectations. So I believe it is the most underrated palette because it's still beautiful ColourPop quality. ColourPop does great shadows and great things. They have all kinds of products. Their Super Shock shadows are the one of the best in the business, as far as like one and done shadows and things. So this is the most underrated. So that's the end of this video. I hope you really like it. I hope you like, share, and subscribe. Leave some comments to Samantha March. I hope you watch this, and I hope one day, I hope I get to go on a Smangy visit trip with you guys. If you ever come to Seattle or Washington, somewhere in my area I really want to go, um, or maybe somewhere else that you guys are going I'd like to go to, um, or maybe a creators and friends, because that's a dream of mine too. One of these days, maybe I'll get to go. But please like, share, and subscribe. And remember, who's better than you? Nobody. Thank you very much. Have a great day.